Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Moon card. Okay, let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a little like or a comment, please do. I'd love to hear from you. All right. Let's see. So we have my child up there. I can hear her running around. She must not be listening too well. Running in the house. Okay, we have a 5 right here. And it looks actually like a 5 and a 0. So 50. And I want to look right here. We have, it looks like a horse right here. You can see the head, the ears up here. Now we have a person who is, it looks like maybe grooming the horse. You can see their head here, their body here, their arm is kind of out this way. And so when I see a horse, I often think this has to do with a feeling of wanting some kind of movement in your life, maybe a change of some kind. Now, usually if the horse is standing still, there is, pretty sure that maybe we're not in that mode yet. Now, with somebody here with the horse, taking care of the horse, that leads me to believe you are in the process of getting things together so you can make this change. You are preparing. I'm thinking, packing your stuff. First, hopefully picking a new place to live, then packing your stuff, right? Making all of the arrangements that you need to make. This is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're moving. This could be a new job, maybe a new position, a new relationship. Maybe you just are thinking about switching up your routine in some way, okay? But whatever it is, I think that this is really important to you, and I feel that you're really very deeply in those planning stages. I also think that you are, kind of maybe in the process of taking care of self, getting yourself prepared. Now, maybe you haven't made up your mind yet, but I think that there's this sense of kind of deciding through self-care, if that makes sense. Really bestowing upon yourself a lot of self-love, a lot of understanding. All of the things that go along with self-care, whatever that looks like to you, right? It looks different to all of us. When I think of self-care, it might be a lot different than, somebody who likes to go get a massage and their fingernails painted or whatever. I don't know. I'm thinking of these guys. I'm trying to think, what do people kind of talk about? Taking a bath. Well, I don't like baths, so I don't do that. you know, I don't do those things. I don't like people touching me, so I don't get massages. So, you know, it looks different. Whatever it is for you, it doesn't matter. The details don't matter. But I think that there is really a sense of, yeah, being there for yourself. Kind of, you know, getting yourself rested, recharged, feeling strong and ready to not only make this decision, but go through the process. Now, I just went through a big move. So I get it. It takes a lot of work. And sometimes it takes a few months to even begin to do the thing. I know it did for me. I was getting ready to move for 3 or 4 months. And some people might think, wow, that's, you know, that's, that's a lot of time. But, you know, for some of us, we just, you know, I'm a planner and I like to do things slowly. At least I like to have time. I don't like to wait till the last minute. That makes me feel like my head's gonna fall off. So I do. I look at this and it's very relatable. And so I'm excited for you. What is this change? I want to see in this reading, hopefully we have some indication, although you already know. It's just me that doesn't know. And you can hear my voice is, I don't feel as bad. I've had the flu, if you don't know already. And so does my husband, and my daughter did too. And I'm starting to feel good, at least feel better, but my voice is barely hanging on. Now we have 55, maybe 535, 535. Now we have this person who is, I almost feel like, it reminds me of a Dr. Seuss book with these kind of curly little plateaus and little hills and mountains. And I'm looking at this person here. Oh, we have that face. You can see the nose, the chin, the ear. It's kind of facing this way, side profile. Maybe an older person, an older man, I think. And it feels like somebody who we have a dog's face right here. So I feel like we have somebody here that kind of a lone type person. And this Dr. Seuss kind of, the surreal nature of this is very lunar in my mind, because the lunar is very kind of distorted, illusionary. If you can think of going for a walk late at night where everything looks quite different. It looks quite different than it does illuminated by the sun. And the shadows are really long and everything looks bigger and smaller than it usually is. And there is a real kind of distortion. And so I'm looking at this and I feel like we have somebody almost maybe like an uncle, or it feels like a family member or maybe a friend of the family. But I almost wonder if they kind of, maybe were dealing with some possibly mental illness, or, and I'm sorry, I have to take a little drink here. my throat. I'm trying not to cough too much. But I just, ooh, I'm like trying to, I'm maybe having moments of being quiet because I'm just trying to resolve that feeling. So almost kind of like, I don't know, maybe somebody who was a bit of a wanderer, maybe somebody who was unhomed, maybe somebody who kind of was always like kind of switching jobs, or, you know, they were just kind of not tied down to anything, right? And I have a feeling that they were very kind. Very kind, and excuse me. Let me just set this down. I'm gonna go with my mind here. I'm looking, but I feel like there's this sense of, I'm trying to suss this out, but it's like it's coming to me more through visual. So I feel like right. So it's this family member who comes around every so often. Now, I almost feel like sometimes when they show up, or when they would show up, there would always inevitably be some kind of big problem. And I don't know if it's because they did have mental health issues, maybe there was addiction issues, some kind of like beef within the family. But I feel like there was a sense of connection for you there. You were intrigued by them. They were interesting. They talked about things that maybe you weren't used to, right? Things your family didn't really talk about. I almost get this feeling of, what is that guy's name? The cynic. I am using my... Oh yeah, Diogenesis. No, is that Diogenes? How do I say that? Ugh. Diogenes. Yeah, Diogenes. So and if you know kind of his mythology of living in a barrel, in the street, kind of, you know, acting like kind of wild, sometimes doing things like defecating on the ground and hollering at people and doing all kinds of other things, and kind of this outsider, you know, intentionally outside of society, and I think maybe the first cynic, or the beginning of the philosophical movement of cynicism, of the cynics. And so I kind of almost feel like it is this kind of almost untethered energy. And I feel like maybe your parents really tried to like limit your interactions, or, you know, they just were like, don't listen to him, he's, you know, whatever. And I'm talking about your uncle, not the philosopher. Although maybe your uncle was a philosopher. But it seems to me that all these years later, there's still a sense of, well, I feel like you kind of have the same rebellious spirit. And now maybe you don't live the same way. Maybe you've gone on to do quite, you know, different things. And we also have a 5 and a 9. But I think that your ability to realize that this is not all there is. There are so many ways to live. You know, it's not all just how we grow up around, you know, however our parents were, or this idea of, you know, living the 9 to 5, or being kind of this, you know, well, now I don't know what the middle class even is anymore, but it used to be called the middle class, right? Just working and having a family and hopefully buying a house, or, you know, having a car, and whatever. These kind of dreams that people had, and maybe some people still have. And but there's more than that, right? And there are so many other ways to be, other ways to live. And I think that this knowledge, this understanding that you've had since even as you were a young child, probably, it's been the key for you. And here we are, the key, right? And see, the thing is, I think that people around you kind of always said, oh, you know, he's unwell, you don't ever end up like that, whatever, you know, the things that people say when somebody is different or has lived different or whatever. But I think that, you know, this was like such a breath of fresh air in a way, because I think that from an early age broke the illusion of having to be something that maybe didn't feel right to you, to like force yourself into this box and be this person, or have this kind of job, or, you know, whatever, play a role in the family that you just weren't interested in. So you've done your own thing. And I think that you've been successful, especially spiritually, in your life, because you're not afraid to try different things. You're not afraid to say, hey, this isn't working for me, I'm going to go do something else. And we all know people like this, right? That they have one career, and they, you know, they build up a life, and then they think, oh, you know, maybe I'd like to go, you know, I don't know, go travel in Lebanon for a year or something, you know, and it's like, okay. And then they just go, they pack up their lives and they go, you know, and then they're on to something else after that. And it's like this very kind of worldly, but it's also this brave, this courageous, excuse me, explorer kind of mindset. And I absolutely I admire this, and for this to be a Sagittarius makes sense to me. Okay, I think that so many Sagittarius people that I've met, including my acquired mom, is a Sagittarius, and it's like, you know, Sagittarius people, they've lived so many lives within their one life. They've done so many things. Excuse me. And so I feel that there is a movement towards something else. I feel, like I said, getting ready for that change. And I think that you already have an idea of, like, what is your next big dream? Where are you going to go with it? What are you going to do? And as I'm looking at this, I see we have the key, but it also looks like a tree. We have, I saw over here, we have this fish right here, a person riding on it. So I feel like there is a sense of abundance in this next move. I think this is one of the phases of your life where things are really going to come together, and you start really seeing kind of like a pretty good uptick in your financials. So maybe it is a new job, or maybe you're moving somewhere else and yeah, there's a new position or a new job that's related to it. Maybe you're starting a little company, or maybe you're going to be doing tea leaf readings on YouTube and you become like a big star doing it. I don't know. It could be anything. But I do think, this is a time. I also keep seeing the star, and I'm looking at it right here, this little star right here. And I feel like, yeah, there's just this momentum towards your next dream, and I keep saying, like, most people would say your dream, the dream of your life, your big goal. Well, for a Sagittarius, you have a lot of big dreams. You're not just going to pick one out. You have a bunch of them. So, yeah, I do. And I just feel a sense of real success here. And there goes Pudgy. He agrees. Now we also have BR right here. And yeah, let's move on to the other part. Okay, so we have a K right here. Almost looks like KH to me. So we have BRKH. Maybe names. Now I feel like there's somebody in your life. Oh, and it feels like we have a volcano here. Now we also have a bird, and it looks like a hawk to me, kind of perched watching this volcano. I feel like you're the hawk. You're very clear of mind. And I feel like somebody close in your life, maybe your spouse, maybe a child, maybe a parent, a good friend, going through something where they are just in their anger. And I'm seeing you watching them, and I feel like it's like you want to lend some kind of, hand, give them some help them figure it out. But I feel like it's like they're not listening. They don't listen. They're just so in their emotions, overtaken by them constantly, that you're at a place where it's like, I wish I could do something, but there's not really anything I can do besides be here for you. But it's like you can't necessarily get involved, right? You can't necessarily, like, and we know this, like if you're a parent or if you're a human being and you care about somebody, then when they're making some kind of mistake, when they're struggling, and you want to just get in there and help them. You like, hey, I've been through something like this. Let me tell you, let me show you. And it falls on unhearing ears, right? And so, here goes Pudgy. Meow. So I think it's frustrating. I do. I feel like it's frustrating. But listen, stay focused on the other stuff. You can be there. You can love them. You can, support them through. But we can't change anything for anybody. We can't fix things. We cannot... we can't live other people's lives for them. And I know it's difficult. I wish that weren't the case. But I do feel like this is a time where, I don't know, that it's just the anger. And I think also you are kind of repelled by that anger, but not just the anger, the outbursts. It almost feels like these outbursts, and And I feel like it's just getting to a point where, and I wonder if you've kind of been no contact with them before, but wondering if it's going to be a time where you have to do that again, right? Because it almost feels like just too volatile. Now, being a Sagittarius, I don't know. I don't necessarily see Sagittarius people often cutting people off or, you know, maybe having strong boundaries, but you all don't really give up on people too much. So, you know, I think maybe that's it. Maybe it is having these firm boundaries, giving yourself some space, letting them kind of do their thing, and, you know, and in some time checking back in to see what, you know, what's going on. Are things getting better? Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to look at the Wild Offering Oracle cards. And I'm going to go ahead and flip through. And I'm going to stop where it feels right. And it says confidence. Divine confidence is completely different from the bravado of the ego. You make space for something larger to take hold. Please fill me with your confidence, O love. Grant me courage I never knew I had. Grant me courage I never knew I had. Beautiful. Okay, Sagittarius, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. Did I already say that? No. Please do. I like hearing from you all. I don't know. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about, I've had so many sweet comments about us being sick and my husband being sick. Shout out to Devin Serpentero. And I know some of you are worried that we get sick a lot. Well, I don't know if you've had kids in the last, like, you know, like 10 or 15 years, but even more recently, this time of, I guess, like, just kids that are under, you know, like 7, 8 years old, because, and this is what the doctors say, and this is what, you know, I'm assuming it makes sense. But our daughter, she was born right after that thing happened, and we were all stuck in our houses. So we spent the first 2 years of her life really avoiding people, and once she got into preschool this last fall or whatever, we never were sick before that. She was never sick until she was 3.5. Oh, no, that's not true. We were sick one time before that. But, yeah. So, yes. And then when she got into her preschool, it was nonstop. So it really is. It just, and a lot of families are going through it. People that have kids, that are similar age. And so don't worry about us. We're doing okay. Health-wise, we're cool. We just catch these bugs. And right now, there's so many things going around. A lot of respiratory stuff. Her whole class has it. And it's really sad because it's the last, couple weeks of school. And, it's just an uptick in it. So, don't worry, we're doing cool. I know somebody was like, you got to check your house for black mold. Well, our house doesn't. It has been, it's been checked, and the house before checked. So we're good. And yeah, I don't know, other than these kids and their germs. And I don't know. We eat whole foods and take vitamins and supplements and the whole deal. So I guess it is what it is. But I do appreciate the concern. I can't answer every single one with all of the info. So I'm just going to say it and hopefully it's received well. But anyways, we love you. I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in just a few days. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Don't get sick. It's no fun. So love you. Bye-bye. Good night.